Thank you for being part of this journey. Celebrating 2 decades of Pacific stories. Brought to you by the Secretariat of the Pacific Community. Half a day, talofa lava, kia ora, a warm welcome to the Pacific Way. Serious efforts are underway in the Pacific Island nation of Tuvalu to increase domestic food security and resilience to climate variability and change. A joint effort by the government of Tuvalu and the Secretariat of the Pacific Community, or SPC, the project aims to promote integrated farming practices that combine agricultural crops with fruit-bearing trees. Let's take a look.
In the Pacific Island nation of Tuvalu, serious efforts are underway to increase domestic food security and therefore community resilience to climate variability and change. One such effort is the European Union-funded Global Climate Change Alliance Pacific Small Island States project, currently being implemented by the government of Tuvalu with assistance from the Secretariat of the Pacific Community, SPC. It aims to strengthen the capacity of the Ministry of Natural Resources to promote integrated farming practices that combine agricultural crops with fruit-bearing trees. Integrated agroforestry practices have already been successfully trialled in Tuvalu by the Department of Agriculture. The approach is based upon traditional agricultural practices where complementary crops and trees are planted adjacent to each other. However, recent farming approaches in Tuvalu have shifted to monocropping, thus decreasing productivity and depleting the soil. Revising this integrated agroforestry method provides the opportunity for greater diversification, reliability, and sustainability of land use and crop yields.
Agroforestry project sites are being established on 2 islands, and we're working closely with farmers and the landowners as they play a very critical role in developing these project sites. These demonstration sites serve as a training ground to teach skills such as how to design an agroforestry site, thinning out unproductive trees, and then planting indigenous and climate-ready crops and trees, compost making and planting methods for rocky land, as you see, and evaluating crops planting. So the transfer of these skills is very crucial to enhancing the production of underutilized land in Tuvalu. A stable supply of locally grown food will enhance Tuvalu's domestic food security. Food security refers to the resilience of food supplies and the access to nutritious food for the population. High dependence on imported food means that our food security may be affected by shipping conditions and economic shocks.
The GCCA PSIS project is designed to enhance domestic food security through diversifying the crop varieties that are available in Tuvalu and ensuring a stable food supply. It will also demonstrate the agricultural potential of land that is currently underutilized.
There are very few local vegetables here in Tuvalu. We would like to see more. So I'm very interested in agroforestry project.
One of the major highlights of the GCCA PSIS project in Tuvalu is trialing climate-ready crop varieties that are researched and made available by SPC's Center for Pacific Crops and Trees. These crop varieties, along with diverse crops and trees that have been collected from the outer islands of Tuvalu, are being bred by the Department of Agriculture in their national nursery.
Talofa. This is the Agriculture Department nursery, and this nursery has been currently run by agroforestry project under the GCCA. And here in the nursery, we have been raised a lot of climate-ready crops, and all these climate-ready crops are bred to be more resilient to changes in climates, such as increases in salinity and temperature.
Amato ne ako ngai era ko mau ne mato a poto ko na mai me ne ta mo mato to mo to ko ala ko po liki ko ne ki rungai ya nga po ki rungai mo to kai ngam i be si me to pera ko pa yo sera le mato piso sa me tausen aga te olang alo ma ate ko leki ro mato ma fe ko oto fotiro mo fa to nga pera ala to piso sa le ngai te kai ro pare.
In addition to the on-the-ground agroforestry demonstration site, the GCCA PSIS project is also partner with the Tuvalu National Council of Women to support the development of community garden in all islands of Tuvalu. This involves target training on agriculture, home gardening, and competition to see which of the Tuvalu 8 islands can produce the best community garden. This garden enable women to have a chance to trial new crops and to directly contribute to increasing in domestic food security in Tuvalu.
Ngā lue mā ua whamalohirohi mā whaitino te whatai au kato mā whiawhi. Ia te au ngā hoki te whātoanga, ia au ngā afuanga la kau mo te mtou ka ainga, e whaikei mtou mea kai, pēla mo whakamataranga te kautwe o te health, pa whai mai e tau atu mea kai pāren, tia e whene mā ua whātoanga ia ngā atu mo te mtou ka ainga mea kona. Hāzi mā whātoanga nei, tēne koe whakawhau nei, whātoa atu nei fuane tau.
The Department of Agriculture's climate resilient crops, the agroforestry demonstration sites, and the women's community gardens are all addressing food security challenges associated with climate change in Tuvalu. The GCCA PSIS project is making a far-reaching contribution to help the people of Tuvalu in their journey toward a more secure future.
You're watching The Pacific Way. Welcome back. For the past 20 years, The Pacific Way has been working behind the camera to bring stories from around the region into the comfort of your living rooms. Today, we reverse the roles a little, opening our vaults to some of the adventures, fond memories, and footage that perhaps for very good reason never made it to air. We go behind the scenes of The Pacific Way. Welcome to the Secretariat of the Pacific Community in Nambour, Fiji, where the production of the Pacific Way program is put together.
The Pacific, an ideal stage for many stories just waiting to be told. Since first hitting the airwaves in 1995, the mission of the Pacific Way program has been to capture some of these unique opportunities on film.
have stories. We have heaps of stories that we want to adapt into this film industry, because we know our own cultures, we know our own people. The image that we take are sometimes too sensitive. We know when to take them, when not to film. That's why it's important for us to know our own story and transfer these stories into the medium that is very powerful, and that is film and television.
The show has been an opportunity for us Pacific Islanders to really appreciate our own culture, our own traditions, our languages, our clothing, fashion, even appreciate the kind of challenges that we're facing now with environmental challenges being faced by us, food security. So the show's been an all-rounder in terms of educating us Pacific Islanders about us.
In almost 2 decades, the Regional Media Center, RMC, has created and archived a visual time capsule of development in the region. Within that time, its flagship television show has also experienced a few changes of its own.
Before we do a last look at the news. YG?
Thanks, Lenora. I remember how just YG and Lenora used to sit on the set out there with a bit of mosquito net, a bit of fishing net at the back, and this Andy Craft from Papua New Guinea and from Solomons. That was the Pacific Way then.
Okay. What are your plans for Christmas?
Well, we've done our travels for the region, and now it's time to travel up to Honolulu.
We sat on the ground in front of this tanoa that people used to tell us afterwards never used to look like it got used. So we had to have the crew come and drink the grog every now and then during a shoot. And we had a lot of props in the back. We had a set designer, but now with technology, we've got, first of all, the auto cue. We didn't have auto cue for I think the first 10 years of Pacific Way. So it was a case of getting the script sometime during the day, cramming it, and then coming here and then delivering it to camera.
Bula, Talova, Yahweh, hello Bulgeta, and welcome to Pacific Way.
Backdrops, tanoas and cramming lines have given way to more sophisticated delivery techniques over the years with the introduction of graphics and the auto cue.
5, 4, 3.
Welcome back. You're watching the Pacific Way.
But some things remain very much part of the Pacific Way tradition.
Whatever happened to them out there, they were never to be heard from again, because on this island, the legend comes to life. I'm getting goosebumps.
The Pacific Way recording is always unique in moments. You just can't let the talent to laugh. And especially when Lenora gets into her giggles, that's it.
One of the most recent changes for the show came in late 2011. Aren, alongside Lenora, has been a big part of the Pacific Way family since day one.
Aren and I have always talked about working together.
After 22 years behind the camera, RMC's most seasoned producer and trainer has decided to trade in his technological companion for new pastures.
Extension services.
I made up my mind a few years ago that I wanted to be a farmer, because I've been making all these, farming programs on livestock, on what not, and I've seen how beautiful it is to work with the land, and that's where I'm going to. But I will never forget media.
It reads, in appreciation of your dedicated long service to the Secretary of the Pacific Community, January 1989, September 2011, from your SPC family.
It's very sad for me, to leave an organization that you've worked for more than 20 years, especially the people that you have known, the buildings that you have walked in and out.
Development and future food security in the Pacific Islands.
When you leave the studio, you feel satisfied that a product is going to come up on air and it's going to be a quality, because the person you're working with, or persons that you work with, are professionals in their own way, and I think that is the part that I'm going to miss.
I've known Aren since I was 18 years old, so I've known him for more than half my life, and it's been a lot of fun with all his experience, all his fun and wakalutuwasa, and all the stuff that Aren does. It's been a real honor to have worked with Aren.
I think we have the opportunity to produce a lot of great stuff. It's our travels to other places. And people still talk about the Pacific Way. Let's produce as many programs as we can from the Pacific and move it out into other countries.
I just really hope that the Pacific Way has really opened the eyes of us Pacific Islanders to the beauty that is the Pacific. Welcome back to the Pacific Way. Preparations are well underway for the 12th Festival of Pacific Arts in 2016. Guam will play host to all members of the Pacific under the theme of What We Own, What We Have, What We Share, United Voices of the Pacific. Enjoy this one.
Half a day from the Guam delegation to the 11th Festival of Pacific Arts in the Solomon Islands. We are very happy and we're very proud to be here in the Solomon Islands to share in this celebration of culture with the rest of the Pacific. This year we brought a 130-member delegation to participate in the festival in the varying disciplines, to include the literary arts, the performing arts, culinary or navigation, and also the film festival.
The preparation for bringing the performing arts group, especially the 65-member group that I have under the performing arts, we started preparations back in September of 2011. Coming together as representative of Guam allows us to be part of that connection and to also learn and experience the connections that we have with our Pacific brothers and sisters. Always remember that we've been colonized for such a long time and we've lost a lot of that. And by coming to the festival, it really has given us the opportunity to reconnect back to what is indigenous to us. A culture and traditions, and we do have a heritage, and we are connected with Pacific Islanders, both of Melanesia, Micronesia, and Polynesia.
I've been working as a blacksmith for 25 years. Mr. Jagluhan, who is up in his age right now, is the one that taught me. He's the master blacksmith. We used to make 7 different tools that Jagluhan taught us. Working with metal, we can use a goggle back home, but it's very, very hot. We cannot go near, okay? So I order coal, and of course it's very hot. So I can show you, there's a knife here that is built according to the tradition.
Right here, what she's wearing, it's what they call spondylus. Like our ancestors, that's what they use for their body ornament. Okay, as you see, like she has practically everything of what I make out of spondylus. Okay, like the ring right here, as you see, it's made out of a giant clam and a spondylus in the middle. Okay, and the bra also it's a different type of spondylus, but it's a spondylus seashell. Our jewelry that we made from bone, seashells, spondylus, the big giant clam, and also blue coral, and stalactite, which is called stalactite or stalagmite. Then I have my new creation of spondylus necklace, this is the first creation that I make. Okay, and also the coin right here, the money that covers right here, that's another creation of mine.
Fruit doves, tropic birds, all endangered, like how it is silenced now from up above.
Well, I am heading the literary arts delegation made up of 10 members of Ginin Ihila Imagatauto Siha Association. And today I'm presenting the story of the Fanihi. So here is my pet, Nihi Fanihi. Of course, we are an integral part of the Chamorro culture because for centuries we provided sustenance in the islands of the Marianas. And unfortunately, we have now become an endangered species. We are presenting also Tetenan, which is one of the one-act plays that I wrote about and presented to Guam audiences. Films from Guam include Linala Lusung, Freskon Manuk. These are productions done by our local people, and we're very excited that we're given this opportunity to present that here in the Solomons.
Aside from being cultural ambassadors for the people of Guam and our Chamorro culture, we're also here to stand side by side with the festival organizing committee to learn what their issues are, what their challenges are, and to share also in their successes because, as you know, Guam will be hosting the 2016 festival, and we want to be able to prepare and to welcome everyone to Guam.
Unfortunately, time has caught up with us. We hope you've enjoyed the show. A quick reminder before we leave, you can find us on Facebook and on YouTube. Until next week, Tofa Kakitea no. Thank you for being part of this journey. Celebrating 2 decades of Pacific stories. Brought to you by the Secretariat of the Pacific Community.